Arjuna next took down the lion banner and meditated upon Agni Dev. A celestial banner then fell from the sky, adorned with gold and bearing the image of Hanuman. After walking around it reverentially, Arjuna hoisted the flag on the chariot's flagstaff. He ordered Bhumanajai to drive, and the chariot moved off toward the north in the direction of the Kurus. Arjuna blew his conch shell with all of his strength. It emitted a thundering sound which made his horses drop to their knees. The prince, stricken with fear, fell over in the chariot. Arjuna consoled the prince and told him to take courage. "You are a Kshatriya, the son of a great king. Why then do you tremble at this sound, losing control of the horses? Many times have you heard the sounds of battle, of mighty conches and trumpets being blown. So why are you terrified like an ordinary man?" The prince got up and took hold of the reins. He brought the horses back to their feet and then replied, "Surely I have heard many conch shells blown, but never one like this. Nor have I ever heard a bow sounding like your Gandiva. This celestial banner also fills me with wonder, for the monkey seems to be alive and about to leap down from the flag. My mind is simply astonished." "Now, stand firm on the chariot and hold the reins tightly, for I will blow my conch again." Arjuna blew his conch and twanged his bow one more time. The combined sound filled the four quarters and seemed to rend and violently tear the mountains apart. Bhumanajai kept his position with difficulty and controlled the terrified horses. In the distance, Drona Acharya heard the terrible sounds Arjuna was making. He turned to Duryodhana. "There is no doubt that Savyasachin has come to fight with us. Even more dreadful omens are now visible, portending a great calamity for the Kurus. Your army seems cheerless, as if they are weeping. All our leading warriors stand motionless, bereft of energy. A curtain of gloom seems to hang over our forces. Let us make ready for battle, for when Partha appears, you will then have cause to repent your actions." "Oh, great-grandfather Bhishma, it seems that we have found the Pandavas before their exile is complete. The condition was that they should return to exile if found in their final year. If this is indeed Bibatsu, then they will have to spend another 12 years in the forest. Carefully calculate the time, O great-grandfather, so that there is no doubt." Duryodhana looked around. In the distance, he saw the dust rising from Arjuna's chariot. Duryodhana held his bow firmly. "Whoever it is coming toward us, be it Arjuna or the Matsya king, we will have to fight today. So why then are the leading men of our army sitting panic-stricken on their chariots? We are many, and here comes but a single warrior. Our preceptor's talk of omens and calamities is unbecoming. Our agreement with Susharma was that we would support him in the battle against Virat. Now we must keep our promise. O Bhishma, arrange our troops for battle. I fear that Drona is overpowered by his affection for the enemy. How can he guide or protect us in our hour of danger? Now, Karna had come up alongside Duryodhana. He spoke loudly so that all the leading Kurus could hear him. Yes, it seems you have all become fearful simply upon seeing Arjuna. But do you not know that Arjuna is no match for me? After spending a long time in the forest, he will be weak in battle. Just like a qualified Brahmana receiving charity, Arjuna will soon quietly receive thousands of my arrows. And by killing Arjuna, I will repay my debt to Duryodhana. Today, I will extinguish the Pandava fire, which is kindled by the fuel of weapons and which consumes all enemies. My unfailing shafts will pierce Partha like serpents entering an anthill. You will see him lying on the ground like a hill covered with golden karnikara flowers. With powerful javelins, I will bring down the screaming monkey from his banner and shatter his chariot to pieces. All of you may fight alongside of me, or, if you like, go away with the cows, for I can face Arjuna alone. Kripa looked contemptuously at Karna. O Radheya, your crooked mind always desires war. But you do not understand things according to time, place, and circumstance. Wise men only choose war when all other means have failed and when the signs are favorable. So, how can it be favorable for us to face Partha in an encounter? Alone he vanquished the Gandharvas, and alone he withstood the celestial host at Khandava. Again, he alone defeated the powerful Nivatakavachas and the Kalakanyas. Unaided, he fearlessly took away Subhadra from within the midst of the Yadus, exciting the wrath of the invincible Balaram. And now he has come before us after practicing celibacy in the forest and having acquired all the divine weapons from the gods. Arjuna's chariot had stopped some way off. The Kuru army arrayed itself in a pointed formation, facing his direction. And at the head of the army, Kripa continued speaking, admonishing Karna, who stood fuming on his chariot, with his great bow held at the ready. Yes, anyone desiring to fight Arjuna alone must be deranged. Such a fool is like a man who desires to swim the ocean with a rock tied to his neck. O Karna, you brag like a foolish child. You wish to take out the fangs of an infuriated serpent with your bare finger, or pass through a blazing fire after smearing your body with oil and dressing in silk. Partha will move through our ranks like Yamaraj with his rod of chastisement in his hand. Now, let our army, clad in coats of armor, stand at the ready. Let yourself, myself, Duryodhana, Bhishma, Drona, and Ashvatthama all stand together. Maybe if we six are united and supported by our army, we will stand a chance, although even then I am doubtful. Ashvatthama pulled up his chariot behind his father Drona. He had heard Karna's speech, and he too spoke derisively. We have not as yet achieved anything, Karna. We have not taken the cows, and we have not defeated the enemy. So why then do you boast? Great heroes, even after winning many battles and conquering great kingdoms, do not utter a single word of self-praise. Indeed, silence itself is the quality of the truly powerful. Fire burns silently, and silently does the sun shine, and the earth bears her great load of both moving and non-moving creatures without a word. The powerful Ashvatthama, always irked by Karna's arrogance, was especially angered by Karna's disregard for his father Drona. Standing in his chariot with his hand on his long sword, he loudly rebuked Karna, echoing his father's sentiments. What Kshatriya on this earth could be proud of winning a kingdom by deceitful gambling like this wicked and sinful Duryodhana? In what single combat did you, Karna, or Duryodhana ever defeat Arjuna or any one of his brothers? In what battle did you conquer Indraprastha? And in what encounter did you win Draupadi, O man of wicked deeds, so that you could drag her to the assembly when she was in her menstrual period and wearing a single cloth? Oh, you have cut the root of the Shala tree that is the Kuru dynasty. Now, Arjuna and his brothers will never forgive you for your insult to Draupadi. Ashvatthama looked across at Arjuna's chariot, which was waiting in the distance. He remembered their time together in his father's school. Arjuna had always been Drona's favorite, and that had hurt him deeply. But there was no doubting Arjuna's martial skills. Ashvatthama had been forced to grudgingly admit his own inferiority. There was not a warrior on earth who could match Arjuna at bowmanship. Karna's bold words would soon be shown to be little more than idle boasting. Now, turning back to Karna, Ashvatthama continued. Dhananjay never turns away from a fight, even when faced with Gandharvas, Asuras, or even Rakshasas. Whoever Arjuna turns upon is blown away as a tree is knocked over by the force of the wings of Garuda. And who would not praise Partha, who is superior to you in prowess, no less skilled a bowman than Indradev, and equal even to Krishna himself in battle? My father's warning should be heeded. His affection for Arjuna should not be criticized, for the wise say a disciple is the same as one's son. Ashvatthama then looked at Duryodhana. O proud man, fight with Arjuna in the same way that you defeated him at dice. Let your uncle Shukuni now show his true prowess in a real fight. The Gandiva bow does not cast dice, but it discharges burning arrows, and those dreadful shafts can rend mountains and pierce the earth itself. Why, the Lord of Death, the God of the Wind, and the God of the Fire may leave something behind, but Arjuna, worked up with anger, does not. You may challenge him if you wish, supported by the vain son of Asuta, but as for myself, I see no point in fighting Dhananjay. Bhishma Dev had been listening to all the speeches. He was sure that it was Arjuna who now appeared before them in the guise of a eunuch. The old Kuru warrior longed to embrace him once again. It was tragic that he had to face Arjuna on the battlefield. The duties of a Kshatriya were hard and painful, without doubt. There was no other way to avoid the fight. Arjuna would certainly not abandon his duty as a warrior. The Kurus would need all their powers united to face him in battle. Their arguments would only weaken them and make it easier for Arjuna to defeat them. Bhishma looked across at Arjuna's chariot and said, "Yes, Drona's son has spoken very well, as has Kripa. Karna speaks his boasts only to incite us to perform our Kshatriya duties. And no wise man would ever find fault with one's preceptor. In my view, we must fight. Who would not be bewildered when faced with an adversary as powerful and effulgent as the sun? Karna's words should only encourage us. Now, my son, Ashwatthama, forgive Karna, for now there is serious work at hand. With Kunti's son before us, there is no time for dissension. The wise declare that of all the dangers that face an army, the worst is disunion among its leaders. Ashwatthama is right. We should heed Drona's warning, for Arjuna is the best of warriors." Duryodhana folded his palms and then spoke to Drona Acharya. "O preceptor, please forgive us for doubting you, and let us now be peaceful amongst ourselves. And if you are pleased, then everything can be accomplished." Drona stood in his chariot, radiant in his bright armor. "Bhishma's words have pacified me. The grandfather has spoken well. We should arrange ourselves with care and protect Duryodhana. I am certain this is Arjuna, and I do not think he will be satisfied merely by recovering Virata's cows. And I am also sure that Arjuna would not have shown himself before his exile had expired. Now, Bhishma, tell us your opinion." Bhishma had already calculated the time. Like Duryodhana, he too had carefully considered the reports of Hastinapur's spies and concluded that the Pandavas were very likely staying at the kingdom of Virat. And as he looked across at Arjuna's chariot, tears pricked his eyes. Kunti's sons are not greedy and will never do anything against virtue. All of them are noble. With Yudhishthir at their head, there is no doubt that they will keep their word. They do not desire to win the kingdom by unfair means. Otherwise, why did they not show their prowess even at the gambling match? The Pandavas would sooner invite death than speak an untruth. By my calculation, their time is complete. I therefore conclude that we will soon see all 5 brothers once again. If Duryodhana will not restore their kingdom, then our meeting will take place on a battlefield." Duryodhana smoldered like a fire fed with oil. he seemed about to burst into flames. His dark eyes turned toward Bhishma, and he spoke in a low voice. I will not return the Pandavas' kingdom. So, dear grandfather, please arrange for a battle. Listen, we should act with caution. I have yet to see a battle in which one side was sure of being victorious, for one party is always defeated. Now we face Vijay. I therefore suggest, O king, that you leave with half the army. Take the cows with you, and I, along with the other Kuru leaders, will remain here to hold off Arjuna. Duryodhana agreed. Leaving Bhishma in charge of half the army, Duryodhana left with the other half, driving the cows ahead of him. Bhishma stood surrounded by Drona, Kripa, Karna, and Ashvatthama. Bhishma ordered them into various positions in preparation for battle. And as they moved into position, they saw Arjuna's chariot approaching. Hearing a sound resembling thunderclaps as Arjuna twanged his bowstring, Drona spoke. There is no doubt that what you are hearing is the Gandiva, for no other bow could emit such sounds. Now, observe closely the banner on the chariot. There you will see a celestial monkey sending forth terrible cries. Know for certain that it is Arjuna who now faces us. And as Drona was speaking, 2 arrows fell from the sky, landing in his chariot at his feet. Other arrows touched the chariots of Bhishma and Kripa. Holding up his hand to bless Arjuna, Drona spoke. Seeing his elders again after a long time, Partha is offering his respects. Indeed, Pandu's sun shines on the battlefield like a well-tended sacrificial fire. Now, stand firm, for his next arrows will not be carrying Arjuna's respects. Chapter 39. The Battle at Virat. In his chariot, only 1/2 mile from the Kurus, Arjuna instructed the prince to halt while he established the enemy's position. Bhumanijai gazed in amazement at the army before them. "Oh, who are these heroes who resemble mountains in the midst of a mighty ocean?" "Yes, the one with the emblem of a golden water pot on his flagstaff is Drona Acharya, and I always worship him. So you should circumambulate his chariot, and I will strike him only if he first attacks me, for such is the duty of a Kshatriya." Arjuna proceeded to point out each of the leading chariots. The hero clad in a coat of tiger skin on the chariot, drawn by red horses, is Kripa Acharya. Today I will show him how light I can be in the use of weapons. By his side, the warrior whose flag bears the sign of a bow is Ashvatthama. He is my preceptor, Drona's son. Thus he too is worthy of my respect. The one clad in golden mail, whose emblem is a serpent against a gold background, is Duryodhana. He always bears the Pandavas' ill will. Immediately behind him is a hero, blazing like fire, with the emblem of a strong rope for binding elephants. That is the wicked-minded Karna. Be careful when you approach him, for he always challenges me to fight. Arjuna then pointed toward the chariot, which stood just behind the four he had already named. This great hero, whose flag is blue and emblazoned with a golden palmyra and 5 stars, and who is shielded by a white umbrella, is the son of Maharaj Shantanu, known as Bhishma, our grandfather. Always treated with regal honor by the Kauravas, he follows Duryodhana. You should approach him last, for he will never harm me. After observing the army for some time, Arjuna told the prince to advance. As they moved off, Arjuna saw Duryodhana detach himself from the army and move toward the south, followed by half of the troops. Arjuna ordered Bhumanijai to follow him. I will engage with Duryodhana, for if he is overpowered, then our purpose will be accomplished. Arjuna then sent arrows toward his 3 elders who faced him on the battlefield. Observing Arjuna's chariot changing direction, Kripa immediately understood his intention. Quickly, move to intercept that Pandava. What will we do with the Matsya's vast wealth if Duryodhana were to sink like a holed boat in the water of Partha? Suddenly, Arjuna released hundreds of thousands of arrows, and they covered the Kuru forces like a swarm of locusts. The warriors could not see anything, and they became confused. Being unable even to flee, they praised Arjuna's prowess. The earth and the sky resounded with the twang of the Gandiva bow and the blast of Arjuna's conchal. Virata's son maneuvered the chariot dexterously and cut off Duryodhana, preventing him from escaping with the cows. As Arjuna closed in upon Duryodhana, the cows began to run back toward the city. Duryodhana quickly came back to the side of the other Kuru leaders. After saving the Matsya cows, Arjuna said, "Let us leave that cowardly Duryodhana for now, for he has fled for his life. I know the wretched Karna desires to fight with me, even as one elephant fights with another. Seek him out, O prince, and I will curb his pride. He has grown insolent due to the protection Duryodhana affords him." Prince Bhumanijai swung the chariot around and raced into the center of the battlefield, from where he could see all the leading Kuru warriors. 4 of Duryodhana's brothers came forward, confronting Arjuna. They sent their arrows towards Arjuna in steady waves, but Bhumanijai avoided the falling shafts by his skillful driving. At the same time, Arjuna shot his own blazing arrows, which covered the Kaurava chariots. Arjuna, remembering Bhima's vow to kill all of Dhritarashtra's sons, avoided slaying any of them. Then, other mighty warriors rushed at Arjuna, roaring and releasing showers of weapons. One, a king named Shatrunatapa, assailed Arjuna with such force that he checked the movement of Arjuna's chariot. Arjuna seemed to disappear beneath a hail of arrows as Shatrungtapa fought with great fury. Wounded by the assault, Arjuna now blazed up in anger. He drew his Gandiva bow back to his ear and fired 5 deadly arrows, which killed Shatrungtapa's 4 horses and his charioteer. And with 10 more straight flying shafts, Arjuna tore off the king's armor along with his arms and head. Shatrungtapa fell to the earth like a mountain peak struck down by a thunderbolt. Arjuna now turned toward the other Kuru fighters who were closing in on him. Arjuna seemed to be dancing in his chariot as he released his gold-plumed arrows. Long lines of shafts were seen to fly from Arjuna in all directions. As he moved among the Kuru army, Arjuna appeared like a forest fire consuming dry wood at the end of summer. The battlefield presented a dreadful scene, with the mangled bodies of warriors and animals strewn about. Elephants screamed and horses whinnied in terror. The roars of the fighters and the blasts of the conchs and trumpets added to the clamor. Above all these sounds rose the terrible cries of Hanuman from Arjuna's flag standard. But as Arjuna's chariot approached Karna, Arjuna was attacked by Karna's brother. At once Arjuna killed his horses and with a crescent-tipped arrow beheaded the warrior right in front of Karna. Seeing his brother fall like a palm tree cut at its root, Karna became infuriated. He rushed at Arjuna with a great shout. With 12 arrows, Karna wounded both Arjuna and Bhumanijai, as well as all of the horses. Arjuna assailed Karna with full force, like Garuda falling upon a serpent. The other Kurus, seeing an encounter about to take place between these two heroes, simply stood back to observe. Next, Arjuna sent a thick shower of arrows toward Karna, but Karna baffled the shafts with his own. He counterattacked Arjuna with thousands of arrows. With his bright armor and flashing steel arrows, Karna seemed like a fire sending forth showers of sparks. Seeing Karna holding Arjuna off, the other Kuru fighters cheered him on. They clapped their hands and blew their conchs. Arjuna could no longer tolerate hearing such praise, so he fought with redoubled strength. Both combatants sent hundreds of thousands of arrows at each other. To those watching, it seemed like the sun and moon were contending behind black clouds. Repeatedly, Karna attempted to kill Arjuna's horses and charioteer, but Arjuna checked Karna's arrows with his own every time. The two fighters fired arrows with blinding speed, their hands hardly visible as they worked their bows. Karna sent a non-stop stream of shafts which resembled the shining rays of the sun upon the earth. Gradually, however, Arjuna began to gain an edge over his opponent. While checking Karna's arrows, Arjuna began to pierce Karna all over his body. With fleet arrows, Arjuna wounded Karna in the arms, thighs, breast, and head. Without his natural coat of impenetrable armor, Karna was hurt badly by Arjuna's attack. Finally, Karna turned away from the fight and fled away like one elephant defeated by another more powerful elephant. When Karna retreated, the other Kurus, headed by Duryodhana, came to attack Arjuna. Without easing up, Arjuna cheerfully met their attack. He displayed various celestial weapons and filled the entire sky with arrows. No part of the battlefield occupied by the Kurus was visible as Arjuna's arrows rained down. Why, it was impossible to even look at Arjuna in this sort of anger. He seemed like the fire which occurs at the end of the cosmic manifestation. As Arjuna fought like a superhuman being, Arjuna created havoc among his foes. Arjuna's arrows only fell where they were meant to be aimed, and his bow was always bent into a circle. The Kuru army fell back in terror, the soldiers worshipping Arjuna in their minds. Horses and elephants who were not slain began to run in all directions. Smashed chariots lay everywhere, with the bodies of their drivers and warriors lying prostrate nearby. Meanwhile, up in the sky, the gods, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and Rishis all assembled to watch the fight of Arjuna and Karna. The fragrance of their celestial garlands spread across the battlefield as if trees had blossomed in spring. Their clothes, ornaments, and shining conveyances lit up the entire region with a brilliant luster. The sky was now ablaze. It was beautiful to behold. In the midst of all these celestials stood Indradev himself, looking with affection at his son Arjuna. Arjuna now looked around at the routed army and saw Drona Acharya. Feeling affection for his teacher, Arjuna ordered Bhumini Jai to drive the chariot toward him. "O Prince, Drona is always worthy of my worship. In intelligence, he resembles Shukra Acharya, the guru of the demons, and in his knowledge of morality, why, he is no less than Brihaspati. Drona has studied all the Vedas, and the science of archery resides within him. Drona is always ornamented by forgiveness, self-control, truthfulness, and compassion. Now I desire to fight with him, so advance with caution." Prince Bhumini Jai urged on the horses, and Arjuna blew his kanchal. Drona saw Arjuna coming and took out his own kanchal, giving it a mighty blast. The two kanchals sounded together like 1,000 trumpets. Drona's red horses rose up and drew his chariot quickly forward. Seeing his preceptor approach, Arjuna became joyful. Placing his bow by his side, Arjuna called out, "O gentle one, we have completed our term of exile in the forest and now wish to exact our revenge. You should not be angry with us, O irrepressible hero, for I will not strike you unless you attack first." Drona smiled at his favorite disciple. Without replying, he raised his gold-plated bow and discharged more than 20 shafts. Instantly, Arjuna raised his own bow and countered Drona's arrows with astonishing speed. Drona covered Arjuna's chariot on all sides with thousands of arrows. Bhumini Jai swiftly turned the chariot and dropped away from Drona, as Arjuna deftly cut down Drona's arrows. Both fighters invoked celestial weapons and spread a network of arrows that amazed the watching Kuru soldiers. Other weapons began to appear on the battlefield as the two combatants chanted mantras sacred to various deities. Firebrands and blazing discs were hurled from Drona's bow, but Arjuna struck them all down. Arjuna sent an even greater number of long-shafted arrows toward his preceptor. Drona Acharya, smiling all the while, cut down all those arrows mid-flight. The Kurus cheered again and again as they witnessed the prowess of both guru and disciple, and they wondered at the harshness of the duty of a Kshatriya, which impelled the two to fight one another. But even as he fought with Drona, Arjuna kept up his attack on the Kuru army. His arrows descended upon them like lightning bolts. As the fierce, razor-headed shafts struck horses, elephants, and soldiers, they made a sound resembling a hard downpour of hailstones. The battlefield was now strewn with arms still clutching weapons and heads adorned with helmets. Golden armor and pieces of shattered chariots littered the ground. The screams of terrified soldiers filled the air as Arjuna maintained his assault. Feeling affection for his disciple, Drona displayed only some of his power. He was able to hold off Arjuna's attack and sent a barrage of golden-feathered arrows back at him. Drona's shafts traveled toward Arjuna in rows, their feathers touching. Arjuna responded by releasing so many arrows that Drona and his chariot now became invisible. Those observing Arjuna could not discern any interval between his taking up arrows, placing them on his bow, and then firing them. Even Indra, watching from the heavens, was wonderstruck. Drona was totally enveloped in a thick mass of arrows which fell continuously upon him. Seeing this, the Kurus cried out, "Alas!" Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlada Aklada Dayani, Hiranya Kashipo Vaksha, Shilatanka Nakalayi, Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho, Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha, Bahir Nrsimho, Hridayi Nrsimho, Nrsimham ading sharanang prapadye. Namaste Narasimhaya. Nrsingham ading sharanang prapadye. Nrsingham ading sharanang prapadye. Tabakara kamala bharai nakam adbhuta sringam. Dalita hiranyakashipo tanubringam. Keshavadrita narahadi rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Keshavadrita narahadi rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.